How hard can an interview be? I mean, it's not like an exam. I don't have to study for the thing. I mean, everything I've done, I've experienced. It's all in my head. I got this. I got this. Yeah? You're wrong. Hey guys, it's Brian. Just a quick apology. I've really been meaning to get this topic out to you guys sooner. I think an interview prep video is long overdue. Obviously, I've been answering your other questions. So here it is. Let's talk about interviewing. Now, this is something that I've coached many students and mentees on. It's important to prep for your interview. And I know the assumption is, you've experienced all your work experience. You've done it all. So it's all in you. But here's the thing. A lot of people need to be coached on how to tell that story. You've made it this far. You obviously have a cover letter that killed it. You have a resume in which the employer just feels that it ticked off every box. And really, you're almost there at the end of the process. So it's just a matter of not screwing that up. And on that note, here are 6 tips to help you ace your next interview. Tip number 1, invoke the storyteller in you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can remember only one thing from this video today, let this tip be the one. You need to bring out the storyteller in you when you're answering these interview questions. And what exactly does that mean? You need to have lots of detail. You want to use descriptive words so that the person that's listening to your story actually can see what's happening. You want to invoke emotion, stress, relief, tension, celebration, victory. Let's use an example. Let's say the interview question was, when was the last time you had to work with someone that you didn't get along with? What happened? And how did you resolve it? Here's how many of the students that I've coached typically answer that type of question. Well, I was working on a group project in my last year of business class, and this person in the group didn't show up on time, and he was really hard to get a hold of. And then so what we did was we all talked to him, and then things got better, and then we did our presentation. Boring, right? Notice the lack of detail. What business class was it? How many people were in the group? What was the project about? What exactly did you guys say to him? And also notice the lack of feeling. There's no emotion in that. You want to talk about how passionate you were about the project, or how invigorated, or how much you loved the topic, and how disappointed you were and frustrated you were with the whole situation. Do you see where I'm going at? It's important that you provide a lot of detail and a lot of emotion so that the person listening to you can actually see the entire story in their mind. So tell your story. Tip number 2, practice out loud. Okay, so I get it. Some people are a little shy to practice out loud, or they just think that whatever is in their head will come out perfectly when they say it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that that's a huge mistake. You'll quickly realize all the ums and hums and ahs and the eye rolling, as you look up and you start thinking about your questions and the answer and what you're going to say. It takes practice, and you're going to stumble through it. All right, so I'm going to shoot you a question right now. And I want you to pause the video and just answer to me. All right? You have one shot, one go at this. Why do you want to work for my company? Okay, now pause the video and answer that question. So how did it go? And whatever response you gave, was that really the best example or best scenario? Did you answer in a way that puts you in the very best light? Or is there a better example you could have used? Did you tell a story? Did you stumble on your words? Did you look up at the ceiling trying to think about what you're trying to say? So as you can tell, you do need to practice, and it's important to practice out loud. Tip number 3, have answers ready for your typical interview question. You've got to be ready for questions like, tell me about your weaknesses. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want to work for us? What are your salary expectations? Why didn't you work between this year and this year? This is a no-brainer, guys. They will ask you these types of questions, so do your homework. There are plenty of ways to answer these questions, so do it in a way that makes you look great and that fits your personality and also your work experience. Tip number 4, establish a conversational tone to the interview. Now, this is something that I highly recommend, and this is to establish a conversation before the interview even starts. This could look like asking them how their day is going, how their weekend was. And yes, the topics can be fairly trivial, but the point of this exercise is to build rapport with the interviewer before the interview actually starts. And don't be afraid to add details about yourself. Maybe share what your weekend plans were, or how your summer is going. The whole point of this is to show the interviewer that you are more human than you are a candidate. Of course, we have to respect the fact that this is an interview, but the whole point of this exercise is to kind of bring a conversational dynamic before the interview starts, and hopefully that dynamic carries over when the interview kicks off. Tip number 5, check your body language. If you haven't yet, check out my video on how to exude confident body language. I'll have a link in the description down below. So during the interview, don't be afraid to take up space, and you don't want to be fidgety, so you really want to remain still. You also want to slow down and speak clearly, and of course, you want to maintain eye contact. I go into a lot more detail in that video, so I strongly recommend that you watch it as soon as you're done this one. And tip number 6, show some personality. One of the key things that the interviewer is watching for is to see if you're going to fit within a company's culture. They want to know if you're going to fit in with how the company runs its business, the business approach, the atmosphere, the energy, as well as the people that you'll be working with. So if you're a go-getter, show that energy. Smile, be friendly. But if you're more laid back and very serious, you can also present that as well, but do it in a way that's beneficial to the company. No bitch face or poker faces, okay? And if your personality is carefree, by all means, show it off. But of course, you just don't want them to think that you're so carefree that you don't care about the job itself. So the point of all of this is that you don't want to be stuck in an environment that is completely incongruent with who you are. So it's important to just let your personality shine during the entire process so that the person interviewing you gets a good idea of what you are, who you are, and what you bring to the company, and whether or not you'll fit. There you go, guys. 6 tips to help you ace your next interview. If you haven't yet, download my free ebook, The Unfair Advantage. In it, I talk more about the whole interview prep process, as well as resume writing, cover letter writing, salary negotiations, and much more. Links in the description down below. So if you have a question that you'd like me to answer in a future video, or if you want to work with me personally, go to my website, 101mentoring.com. Don't forget to like and share this video. Guys, thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time.